Hello everyone, and welcome to this review of the Season 5 premiere of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the Cutie map, because you clearly haven't seen enough of them. Right? Now, before I get started, I'd like to mention that this is part of a challenge video set by a herd of bronies, so I'll get this started now. This episode introduces possibly one of the biggest plot points of the season, the titular Cutie map, which supposedly guides our ponies to different locations across Equestria to solve friendship problems, a theme which I'm hoping DHX will continue well into season's end and hopefully beyond. I don't think its effects will be as present in this season as they were in season 4 with the Rainbow Box, as perhaps it may just carry across to future seasons. I made a video discussing the character known as Mage Meadowbrook. Now in that video I mentioned that Starlight Glimmer mentioned Meadowbrook's magic items, of which I believe we have seen one of in Griffinstone, lost forever in the Abyss, but does that mean we won't see any others? Oh Celestia, I hope not. Speaking of unicorns, Twilight Sparkle, Sunset Shimmer, and Starlight Glimmer, you may notice that all three of these names sound extremely similar, which could lead some to think that there's some connection going on there. Now the easy solution would be just to say that the marketing department of Hasbro just wanted names to appeal to little girls, and you would be very likely right about that. But let's think about what it would mean if it wasn't. We can assume that all three unicorns have received magical tutelage of some kind. Well, we know Twilight Sparkle and Sunset Shimmer have, but we don't know that much about Starlight Glimmer. This education would possibly originate from the same source, Princess Celestia. We can assume from the pilot episode that Pony Society is a superstitious one, with legends such as that of Nightmare Moon, which leads me to wonder whether there is a legend about a new wielder of the magic of friendship, like maybe, whomever shall hold the mystical multicoloured mane shall triumph and become friendship leader alpha. I am really pulling this here and it's never going to happen in the show, but it's still fun to think about. Speaking of fun, Pinkie Pie from the start suspects the town of being very, very shady, and yet the others don't seem to see any faults. Why? Were the writers just making Pinkie weird for the sake of it? Or is there a method to the madness after all? Well, if you'll notice a line that Pinkie says, which makes a lot of sense in the context of her character, here it is.
I know smiles, and those smiles, they're just not right.
Pinkie is a party pony. She throws a lot of parties, therefore she's seen a lot of happy ponies in her day. Lots of smiles. So it stands to reason that she can sense whether a smile is real, or a smile that's more fake than that not cutie mark Starlight Glimmer has. We're delving back into headcanon territory here, but why did Starlight Glimmer want to make everyone equal? Is it some preconceived notion of equality? Did something happen to Starlight Glimmer to make her this way, like a parent? Or a guardian figure planting that idea in her head and essentially using her as a vessel for a corrupted ideal? Well, let me tell you a little story. Imagine a small, strange town in the middle of nowhere. A town whose populace are without magic or any particular talents. Everyone lives their lives, and they die, not making an impact on the world, and not knowing anything exists outside of that. Our antagonist, Starlight Glimmer, probably grew up in that town. Perhaps the spell that equalizes ponies was taught to her by a parent or guardian, or maybe a citizen of the equal town. Or perhaps I'm just being utterly mad. Headcanon is one heck of a drug. Oh, and while I'm on this episode's case, writers? Come on. I understand your main cast is all female, and most of the citizenry of Equestria are mares, but come on, you've got a child dragon growing up. That's like narrative gold. With a target audience of children, you cannot possibly go wrong. But somehow they managed to do it anyway. Spike is a male character, therefore he will be perpetually narratively misused, such as in this episode. The excuse they used not to bring Spike along was pretty narratively weak. We've never seen Spike interested in Hoofball before this point. Perhaps Spike could have been going to a comic convention in Canterlot. It's not completely out of the question, since Spike has gone off by himself before. Royal business in Canterlot ring any bells? Speaking of bells, Sweetie Belle, and the CMCs. Episodes featuring the CMCs. I usually skipped over on my first viewing of MLP. I always wanted to focus on what the main six were getting up to, but now that I see the CMC characters as good characters in their own right, I started actually liking their episodes. Now what about episodes focusing on other ponies out with even the CMCs? Slice of life. It might shock you to know this, but Equestria is a living, breathing world with lots of ponies inhabiting it. The name tells us a lot about what it's going for. A mere slice of life in Ponyville. I would very much like to see full episodes focusing on other characters like Celestia or Luna, that don't feature the main six of the CMCs. I think many of us brony types would like that. You know, There were a few interesting characters in this episode, but you know who stood out the most?
Stand back, every pony!
Yeah, him.
Stand back, everybody!
Yeah, and her. These former inhabitants of Equalsville were not given much characterization in the first part, or even the early parts of the second episode. We only see a bit of their personalities shine through in the end of the second episode. But they already feel like full characters, because all these ponies have an absolute explosion of character, which probably resulted from having their true selves suppressed by Starlight's magic for so long. Anyway, your challenge has been accepted, Herd of Bronies. Now it's your turn to judge this video, audience. Did you like it? Did you think it sucked? Either way, leave a comment down below because criticism will help me a great deal. I'm the Ponyville Critic. Speak to you all soon.